With the first Republican presidential debate set for August 23rd, all eyes are on who will qualify. Candidates must register at least 1% in at least 3 national polls, have 40,000 unique donors, and sign a loyalty pledge to support the eventual nominee. Our next guest is refusing to sign that pledge. 2024 Republican presidential candidate Will Hurd is here joining me. Thank you for taking the time. Happy 4th of July, first of all. Why will you not sign that pledge?
Sure, Edward. I hope there's 40,000. I know there's 40,000 Americans that will go to hurdforamerica.com to give at least $1 to see me on the debate stage. And to me, this is not about supporting the Republican nominee. My issue is with supporting Donald Trump. And here's why. Donald Trump is a proven loser. He hasn't won an election since 2016. He lost the House in 2018. He lost the White House in 2020 and the Senate in 2020. And he prevented us from having a red wave in 2022. He also is someone who has not agreed to sign this pledge. Heck, he hasn't even acknowledged the fact that he lost the last election. It wasn't stolen from him. It was lost because he failed to grow the party in the largest
back to the debate. I mean, do you think you're going to have the other criteria to be on that debate stage?
We're working towards that. I've been in the race for 10 days, and we're raising money. We're getting people excited. I'm here in New Hampshire right now, spending 4th of July here, and so we're working towards those requirements. But here's the final reality. Like, I can't lie to the American people just to get access to a microphone. I've made it very clear. I've taken one oath, and that is to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. I take one pledge. That's when I put my hand on my heart to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. And I took one vow, and that's to my beautiful and amazing wife. And like I said, I can't lie in order to gain access to a microphone in the debates.
Right. Now, you used to represent a district along the Texas border. That's a big issue. What's your number one issue then for the campaign? What do people need to know?
Well, here's what people need to know about how I will tackle border security. It's not just going to be words. It's with actual action. The problem that we are dealing with on the border right now, this crisis that has led to 2.5 million people just last year, even more likely this year, that's fueled human traffickers in Mexico with north of $25 billion, is we got to stop treating everybody coming into this country as an asylum seeker. This is an actual decision that started under the Trump administration and continued under Joe Biden. Coming to the United States because you want a good paying job is not a reason in order to qualify for asylum. We also need to be addressing root causes that are driving people into the United States. A fraction of our foreign policy budget should be going to addressing those root causes in those countries, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than having to deal with this here. And then finally, you got to treat human smugglers like the national intelligence priority that they are.
So you're coming down somewhere between the Trump administration and the Biden administration, working on those long-term causes. Would you support something like a wall then?
Sure, a physical barrier in some places makes sense. Every mile of the border is different from every other mile. There are some places where there's urban contact where you need a physical barrier. You also need other technology. But at the end of the day, you can't let people into the country that has come into our ports of entry. Right. It come into our country in between our ports of entry. That's the actual problem. And it's because the last 2 administrations are treating everybody as an asylum seeker, which is you're letting them come into the country, get into the immigration court system. We should be sending more people back to their home country.
Right. And you know a lot about the border. What about other foreign policy with China related to Taiwan?
Look,
would you put the U.S. military behind Taiwan to protect Taiwan?
Well, we should learn the lessons that we have learned from the Ukraine, right? Here's one of the big differences between me and some of the leading candidates, including Donald Trump. I'm not going to try to make Vladimir Putin my BFF. I'm going to treat him like the war criminal that he is. And what we've learned from Ukraine is we should have supported the Ukrainians before the Russians invaded. Just like in Taiwan, we should be giving Taiwan all the tools and equipment they need in order to defend themselves before the Chinese try to take it by force. And why should every American care about this? Because if the Chinese government gets access to 70% of the world's advanced manufacturing when it comes to semiconductors, that's going to impact everything. From your car.
So quickly, would you put American troops? Would you then use American troops to help fight back the Chinese?
We don't need to be putting American troops' lives on the line to deal with Taiwan right now. We can be taking care of that problem before it becomes an issue. And I think that's equipment, that's know-how, that's training, that's intelligence cooperation. That's how we should be able to help the Taiwanese.
Will Hurd, I appreciate your time on this 4th of July. Time is short, as you know. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So first, the first GOP presidential debate will be right here on Fox, August 23rd, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tune in for that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.